In this eye-opening video, we witness the reactions of 10 young offenders as they receive life sentences, facing the harsh reality of the consequences of their actions. Cameron Herron, the driver of a Mustang involved in a fatal car crash that killed a mother and her infant, has been sentenced to 24 years in prison for his role in the accident. The accident occurred while Herron and co-accused John Barano were racing. Barano received a 6-year sentence after pleading guilty. The state attorney acknowledged that no sentence could undo the damage or bring back the lost lives, but hopes it brings some closure to the victims' families. Herron will serve 9 and 15 years for counts 1 and 2 respectively, totaling 24 years in state prison. A young woman's dreams of graduating from high school and attending university were dashed as she was sentenced to prison for 6 to 15 years for the death of a 19-year-old student. Samantha Gregg, 18, pleaded guilty to manslaughter and unarmed robbery charges and cheerfully apologized for her role in Dustin Frolka's death. Despite her remorse, Gregg's actions caused irreparable harm and left the community in mourning. Former Chardon High School student Thomas T.J. Lane showed no remorse when he opened fire in 2012, killing 3 students and injuring 3 others. Lane appeared in court wearing a killer t-shirt and made disrespectful comments to the victims' families. He received 3 life sentences without parole, but escaped from prison with 2 other inmates just a year later. Lane's lack of conscience caused fear and panic until he was caught and returned to custody. In a Fontana court, 18-year-old Californian student Fernando Salgado was arraigned on criminal charges related to classroom incidents at A.B. Miller High School. After his bail was set at $300,000, Salgado broke down in hysterical tears, yelling and pleading with family and friends to get him out. Despite his emotional outburst, Salgado pleaded not guilty to the 2 charges. The appearance followed that of his teacher, Emmanuel De La Rosa, 27, in connection with the alleged physical attacks on 2 students. Salgado wore a green jumpsuit, indicating that he was in protective custody. The Daytona Beach community was left horrified by the double homicide of roommates Trey Ingram and Jordan Payton. Damon Kemp, an elderly man provided free accommodation by Ingram's family, was charged with second-degree murder. However, Kemp's bizarre behavior during court proceedings, screaming "God" and making strange facial expressions, raised concerns about his mental state. The judge found probable cause for his arrest, but his erratic behavior prevented a bond from being set. The unsettling display has left everyone questioning what led to Kemp's behavior as the case continues to unfold. In Osceola County, Florida, a crime spree in 2013 led to the tragic deaths of 2 people, leaving a community in mourning. 18-year-old Conrad Schaefer pleaded guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder and was given consecutive life sentences for his actions. One of his victims, 17-year-old David Guerrero, was shot and killed on his way to work, leaving his family to cope with their grief. Despite Schaefer's remorseful words in court, he knows that nothing can undo the damage he caused and will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Alyssa Bustamante's gruesome act of taking the life of a 9-year-old neighbor girl in 2009 shook the community in Missouri. She was 15 years old at the time of the crime and wrote in her diary that it was an amazing and enjoyable experience. Although originally charged with first-degree murder, Bustamante later pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and armed criminal action. However, seeking a do-over following a U.S. Supreme Court case invalidating mandatory life sentences for juveniles, Bustamante was denied a new trial by a judge. The judge ruled that the punishment imposed was appropriate for the heinous crime she committed. The stories of these 10 children highlight the importance of addressing the root causes of violence such as poverty, trauma, and mental illness, and providing access to resources that can prevent these tragedies from occurring in the first place. So that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed watching it, then please consider pressing that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. Check out some of our other videos while you're at it, and we'll see you again next time.